Welcome back to Sports First. It's your host, shoulders. Let's get right into it. Jaguar versus the kingdom of them Chiefs. Lawrence of Jacksonville versus Patty, not that Patty, but Patty Mahomes. Um, wasn't looking too great for a little bit. Well, to be honest, all around the Chiefs were looking good the whole time. There was times it was in there, but again, was it first goal or second that um, oh boy, Patty got a high ankle sprain, which isn't good. But then again, he's a QB and he's not really. I mean, he can be mobile at times, but after a week of rest and so I feel like he should be all right. But still, during the game, it didn't look too nice at moments. But he came out and pulled it off, doing a couple of one leg touchdowns or on one leg. All around, they had a pretty decent game. Kadarius Toney had some pretty decent catches, and the 14 from Travis Kelce obviously will help with the two TDs. Um, who was it that had the fumble? It was came down in a way. It came down to the wire, but at the same time, while you were watching, it didn't feel as close because there was times where the Chiefs could have easily had two touchdowns and pretty much finished off the game. Yeah, it was Zay Jones, Zay G, Zay J. I don't know where I get the G from, but pretty good from. To be honest, their wide receivers haven't been terrible this whole year, but Zay Jones that very last play where they could have, I believe they could have tied it, ended up fumbling. I was in and out of this game to be honest, but you could tell the whole time, wasn't really that great of a game for them boys. On to the next one, as oh boy, Jay-Z said once in an album. Um, and I mean, this one wasn't really a contest at all. Yeah, divisional weekend wasn't as fun as um, Super Wild Card Weekend, as they like to call it now. The game was pretty much over before it even started, to be honest. Jalen Hurts to, who was it? Smith? I believe it was Smith. And then everything else was pretty much over after that. The rushing touchdowns from everybody, pretty much. Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. Surprisingly, Miles Sanders didn't get one, but still 17 for 90. Not too bad. 12 for 112 from Kenneth Gainwell. Pretty nice, I'd say so. AJ, I don't know if AJ, I thought he was, before it was a week, I forget which week it was. I thought AJ Brown got some sort of injury, but 3 for 22, maybe there was just a coverage, but still. But yeah, this game was pretty much over before it started. You really can't say too much because they weren't really doing too much, to be honest, as in the Giants, Saquon with 9 carries, 2 catches for 21 yards, not too much from Saquon. Saquon, in a way, has been out of it. You can't say that, I guess, but like the last weeks in total, he hasn't been the same dude. I don't know if he's dealing with something or not, but hasn't been playing like the same dude. Then again, like I said last week, they really don't have a wide receiver inside that. I don't know if you can say top 40. I haven't looked into that, but I don't know if you could say they have a receiver in the top 40. Richie James could technically probably be in that conversation because he's been getting the targets, but I mean as a legit top guy. There's teams with 2 top guys, 3 top guys. In the 40s. Fuck, the Bengals have 2 guys that could easily be in the top 10, top 20, as in Chase and T. Higgins. And I'm not overreacting and none, but that's just true. But yeah, that was it pretty much for them Giants. Hey, at least they got it to playoffs. To be honest, I didn't think they were gonna like pull it off at the very end because it was just they started so good, ended so bad. It was like that with a good amount of teams. Miami started off great, ended up bad, but they still made it. So there's another team I'm missing, but who the hell is the other team? Forget them. Well, the Packers also had a similar situation. There's another team, but I guess I could look it up. What was it? Well, actually, Detroit Lions started off bad, ended up really good. Seahawks was one of those other teams. Started off really good, ended off poorly. Pretty sure there's another team, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Bengals, Bills, Mandem. They were not out there to play 25-42 and no touchdown, one interception from Josh Allen, but he did have the one rushing. But those are terrible numbers when you add the fact that there's no touchdown. Yeah, just pretty much all around it was pretty bad from them Bills. I mean, there's a lot of missed throws and what was it that who was that touchdown to? I forget who it was to, but it was a pretty bad pass. They got picked off from I believe it went for did it go for a pick six? Let's see who it was. Not Bates, Devon Bell. Actually, that was Cam Taylor. I thought it was somebody else who had it. Huh. I guess it was just him. I was 100% confused on that situation. I thought it was somebody else who had the interception, but it was Cam Taylor Britt. Maybe that was a Bills interception I'm thinking of. Let's see. Guess there wasn't a Bills interception, so I'm 100% wrong on it. But yeah, Joey B was Joey smooth out there, to be honest. Mans wasn't really messing up. He was getting his. It's not like he had a great game himself. I guess you could say, considering that the Buffalo Bills defense is a really good defense, but they just weren't really stopping anything. So this game just right off the bat, it looked like it was going to be, or it was one-sided, to be honest. Chase and the boys were just out there having fun with the Bills at Buffalo. And other than, I mean, you really can't say too much about this game either. T. Higgs, everybody was out there playing, balling. T. Higgs, even though he only had 3 for 28, actually that's not good at all. Chase for 5 for 61. At least he got himself a touchdown. Hayden Hurts, don't it? Got himself one as well, 5 for 59. Run game was pretty decent, 20 for 105, one touchdown. Actually, in a playoff game, I'm going to say that's good. But yeah, schmood like criminals. They got the easy. You would think it would be a bigger, they'd compete a little bit more since it is the playoffs and the Buffalo Bills. I believe they were favorites to win the whole thing. Not looking like that when you're at the situation. James Cook, I remember him having a pretty good run. Maybe that run was a catch. That's the other. I don't see him having a catch. I remember him having a good run. Maybe that was Devin. I don't know. They have the similar situation where they're running a couple of guys every other game. Plus, they got Naeem Hines in the passing game. But you look at these other stats. Total yards 325, 412 for the Bengals. Passing 240 for the Bengals. Passing y'all for the Bills. 262. But man, all around, just Bengals defense looking better every other time, even though they weren't really or aren't known for their defense, to be honest. But then again, when you have a offense that'll put up points, sometimes your defense ain't gonna look so great. 49ers. Dallas Cowboys, man, oh man, ugly. Another ugly. One other thing about the Buffalo Bills situation, like Josh Allen really wasn't having a good game the week before, anyways. I'm wondering if it's that elbow situation. It maybe never actually got healed, or um, and he just was. Maybe that's why he hasn't played him by like himself. And Stephon Diggs got mad at the end of the game. Maybe he's out, and see what the heck is going to happen. Should be a pretty decent ending of the season, or like during trade line and all that good stuff. But yeah, back to Cowboys. Where's 49ers? Dak Prescott. Oh man, oh man. How do you have such a good game week before, come into this game and totally shit the bed? I mean, he literally shit his Tempur-Pedic, or whatever commercial he does for them beds. 23 for 32, and two of those were interceptions. Man, oh man. He didn't, it wasn't terrible to be honest, but actually it was pretty bad. Because some of the, like one of those passes was forced, and there was two men covering. Was it CD or was that Gallup? I forget. But Mans was getting covered. I mean, it was deflected. It wasn't like Dak put it right in his hands. So that's another thing. But still, and another thing that hit really hard was Pollard. Tony, I don't know. For the longest time, I've been calling him Poland. I don't know why, but yeah, it's not Poland. Tony Pollard. I don't know. I used to call him Pollard, but it's Pollard. I still call him that here and there just because, I was doing it for so goddamn long. CeeDee Lamb, Maz has been pretty much balling for a minute, not just start of playoffs, showing that he's easily a number one wide receiver and one of the best in the league. I think it was the rest of the guys that didn't really show. Michael Gallup hasn't really been himself, to be honest. I don't know if that knee injury just needs to take a little bit more time to heal up, to be back to, or being back to himself. But hey, if you look at it in a fantasy perspective, a lot of people probably won't pick him up next year, or he won't be one of those late round picks because people see what happened, this week. So with that, you could probably end up picking him up late, have yourself a pretty good wide receiver. Maybe that's, I don't know. Sometimes people just fall off, but Michael Gallup's pretty young, so I don't think he's going to be that. T.Y. Hilton started off with a pretty big catch, I would say, and then I'm like, hey, maybe T.Y. going to do something. And then T.Y. did nothing. He went T.Y. missing. But yeah, Pollard, big loss for them. Rolled his ankle. I think it was the ankle. Most likely he's going to be out for a good, probably not even going to, I'm not sure if he's going to be back during the regular season or not, but if he's not, similar to, for fantasy reasons, he's going to be a late round pick. And from what we saw during this game, Mans is going to be the future of the Dallas Cowboys, unless he comes back and, sums off and he's just not the same guy. But Zeke ain't Zeke the freak no more. He's more like Zeke the, I don't know, shit. He's more of a short yardage guy anyways. Just touchdowns and stuff. Like, he'll get you those yards. There was one situation where they needed a first, and he, like, I don't know, I haven't seen in a while where, like, a player's in that specific position where he's pretty much, they got him, but he somehow found a way to get the extra yard and get the first down. It was weird. But he still has a little bit, but whatever. 49ers. Brock Purdy, probably one of his worst games. I don't remember him having such a bad game because the majority of the games he's played, he's looked absolutely stunning. Stunning, I tell you. Stunning Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? Elijah Mitchell came out the ball as well. So, like, I mean, if your skill guys know that come out to play, maybe you don't have to have a good game. In a way, Dak, you could say, had a better game in a way. To be honest, they both had shit games. It's just Brock actually didn't, in a way, put himself or put his team in a situation where they could lose. There was something else that happened. I can't remember. It was in the goal line. Dallas Cowboys were going to get the lead. I believe it was. What happened in that situation? Was it a fumble or muffed? I believe it was. Was it a muffed freaking punt? Something happened where the Dallas Cowboys eventually got it back. I believe it was pretty much a player dropped their punt returner, dropped it somehow or something. I'm like totally lost on the situation. But still, they got down to the goal line, and I forget what exactly was it. A pass to? I mean, I'm so lost on that situation. But they had a couple more than one chance to actually get the lead, and they didn't. Not too much happening from Deebo Samuels. Kittle had the 5 for 95. I mean, 4 for 45 isn't too bad, but it's not too bad when you have so much skilled players on your team, to be honest. You know, Brandon, another player that probably should have had more, probably should have had around 8 or so, but that Dallas defense didn't really give you too much, you know. But at the end of the day, Dallas could have easily ended up winning this game if Brett Maher didn't miss that extra kick. They would have just needed to, at the very end, they would have just needed to stop. I mean, 49ers did actually run down the clock all the way down, like all the way down. And that kind of hurt, that freaking hurt the Cowboys' chances. Eventually, they had about close to a minute, maybe a little way less than a minute, but still. After that situation, it was pretty much done. Then they had the really dumb play at the very end where people were making jokes or memes where Zeke was a center and their punt returner, I forget his name, he's one of the more famous punt returners, obviously, because the Cowboys, but he's actually a pretty good punt returner. I forget the dude's name, but he's not that great, or not that good, I guess. If I'm forgetting dude's name. Turpin, yeah. Turpin on there, but yeah, Turpin had I don't know what the hell they were trying to do, to be honest. That was like one of the dumbest last second plays I've ever seen in my fucking life. I'll tell ya. Really dumb. Like, he literally caught the ball, nobody around him. I don't know what the fuck they were, I thought they were going to do some like lateral and all this other shit, just moving the ball around, throwing it back and forth until they, maybe had some miracle touchdown. Oh, and the catch by Schultz, that kind of fun. Like, what the hell was, it's playoff, I know it's important, maybe the nerves got to him and stuff, but Schultz, what the hell was Schultz doing? Caught the ball, easily could have slid his leg. He had so much time to do so. But he didn't even touch. He had almost two different opportunities where he could have landed that right leg, and he didn't, which I don't know if that would have changed anything, to be honest. Dak is not Patrick Mahomes. I feel like with 50 or so minutes, there's probably one quarterback, maybe two or three. Maybe Pat and Tom Brady are two quarterbacks that can get you that. There's probably way more than that, but I'm just saying it's like, if I had to put everything on one specific quarterback, I think it would be Pat, maybe Brady, but not Brady this year. Brady other years. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. We got next games coming up on Sunday, which we got 2 and 6, or let's look at time slot. I'm done with this. Get some bullshit. 2 and 5:30. 2 and 5:30. Eagles, 49ers, Bengals, Chiefs. Nobody should be surprised by this. I mean, actually, see, the Bengals actually started off not so hot too. So in a way, if like it was week 5, if you would have told me this, I'd have been like, the Bengals don't look too great week 4, week 5 and stuff. because I remember the Rams were bad, and everybody was like talking about like, is either a Super Bowl team gonna make it to the playoffs, and hey, one of them has at least made it to the NFC or NFL conference championship. So yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You got your matchups. Legit quarterbacking. Eagles might have the edge. Bengals might have a little bit more edge because Chiefs Top Gun is injured, as in Patty the slinging Patty Mahomes. But Pat Mahomes, yeah, with that ankle injury, it's high ankle. Players miss weeks on weeks with that kind of injury, but that's usually skilled players like Mike Williams, as you all remember during the season where he made one catch, left the game. I was pretty pissed about that because I had him in my fantasy team, and I was in a way I didn't need him at the time, but still wasn't happy with that situation. But yeah, rookie quarterback against third-year quarterback, I believe, and another third-year quarterback, as in I believe this is Joe Burrow's third year. Yeah, the injury, Super Bowl, NFC NFL conference championships. Then that's pretty much it, to be honest. And then we got the February 12th Super Bowl. Sabotage.